Hi, this video is my labor and delivery story video, and I have the baby right here, so she might make some grunting noises. She makes a lot of noises in her sleep, but here she is. I don't know if you can see. Oh, I'm sorry, she's sleeping, but she's just gonna lay here with me. Now we are just about 2 weeks postpartum, so I had to make a lot of notes for this video because I've been so busy. But she was born at 37 weeks and 6 days, so she was born the day before I was going to be 38 weeks. And before that, I'll just talk about like a little bit before that. I have been having a lot of pain for like weeks, a lot of pressure, a lot of contractions, the Braxton Hicks and everything for weeks. So up until this point, I had my doctor's appointment for the 37-week checkup, and that whole day it was like a lot of pressure. Like I could barely walk, and I just knew that if I went to the doctor, because I was checked 2 weeks before that and I was 2 to 3 centimeters and 75% effaced and -1 station. So I was thinking, so that was 2 weeks before that appointment, the day that I went into labor. So I was thinking, like, when I go to the doctor, she's gonna check me and I know that I'm gonna go into labor. Previous times when she would check to see if I was dilated, like the 2 previous pregnancies, I went into labor like the next day. They say that when they do check that you could go into labor, but this time it was different. So I went to my doctor's appointment like normal, 37-week checkup, and so she did the heartbeat and everything. I got weighed. I was 153 pounds. So I had gained my 30 pounds. So I gained my 30 pounds. So that's how it tells you I was very underweight, still losing weight. So I was very underweight and I gained my 30 pounds. I could have gained more. I wish I would have gained more, but I gained the 30 pounds. So she checked me again and I was 5 centimeters, 100% effaced, and 0 station, I believe. So she was like, oh, you need to go to the hospital right now. Like, make your way right now. I'm going to deliver this baby tonight. So she said, go get your stuff and go straight to the hospital. She said, if the dirt babies are, you can't trust them. They're very unpredictable. If your water breaks, you would just go right into labor. So she said, as soon as, she's like, you can have this baby in 2 contractions. As soon as she said, as soon as she breaks my water, I was gonna go into labor. So, and then my mom was all panicking. So she started panicking and we started rushing. I had both Adri and Elise with me. So we started rushing. I had to drop them off at a friend's house, and I came back home to get all my bags, and my mom just kept on panicking. Like, I'm like, I want to charge my phone. Like, I need to charge my phone. The hospital is about 20 minutes or so away, and it was, what time was it? It was like 3 o'clock. My appointment was at 3 o'clock, so by that time it was like almost 4. So I was thinking it was gonna be a lot of rush hour because I take the highway, and it actually wasn't so that bad, but she was trying to hurry up and get me there. She didn't want my water to break because the baby was so low. Like, she was really low. And so we dropped the girls off, got my bags, charged my phone for like 20 minutes, got on the highway, and we drove to the hospital. The traffic wasn't bad at all. We got there around, what time did I say? Got to the hospital around 5:30. And I was kind of upset because they made me walk to labor and delivery, and usually they would give me a wheelchair. Even the last time when I had my second delivery, I didn't have bad contractions, but they still gave me a wheelchair. And so this time we had to walk like it looked like I was going to an appointment, and I was kind of upset about that. So then we got there and we had to wait even more because the lady that was in triage, and my doctor said that she had already called me in, so I didn't even have to see the triage, but they had to see who I was. So the lady that was, they only had one nurse in triage, and she was with another patient, so we had to wait another like half hour. And by that time my husband had showed up because we called him. Forgot to mention that. So my mom had to rush me to the hospital. My husband was still at work. I called him and told him to make his way to the hospital, so he met us there. So that's why I was with my mom and had to drop the girls off. So by the time we got in there, my husband already had met us there. So we all went in there together, and it was like the nurse that came out to get me said, "Doctor already called you in, go straight to labor and delivery." So we went straight to the room, had to get the gown on and everything, and they were going to start labor. I didn't have to get induced or anything. All they did, because the contractions they weren't really strong, but I was having contractions regularly by that time, and she was extremely low and like ready to go. So I was like in early labor for weeks basically. So so we got into the room about 6 o'clock, and they started getting like, you know, medical information and everything. And then they said that my doctor told me I could get an epidural. So I was feeling a lot of pressure, so I was like, yeah, I want an epidural because I don't want to feel the pain. And then they were going to break my water. So they gave me an epidural, they broke my water, and yeah, they broke my water. And then the doctor came in to check me. I was 6 centimeters by that time, and that was like around, I think it was around, I'm lost now. I don't know what time it was, but it was around 7 or 8, because we got in the room about 6. So it was around 7 or 8. I was 6 centimeters. And then I was 6 centimeters, 100% face still, okay, all of that. And then about an hour later, she checked me again. I was 8 centimeters. So she was like, so that was like 9. That was like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And so she said, yeah, that was like 9. She said, when you feel the contraction, the pressure, because by that time I didn't feel any really pain. I had my epidural, and I could just feel pressure. I always feel just pressure. She said, if you can feel pressure so bad that it's like you have to take a bowel movement, then the baby is ready to come out. So she left, and no longer than 30 minutes later, I started feeling really, really strong, major pressure. So, yeah, I started feeling major pressure, like I wanted to push. And I kept on telling my husband, call the nurse, I feel like I want to push. And I was like, I had to brace him. I was like, I really had to force myself not to push. I wanted to, because it was that intense of pressure. So she came in to check me about 10 o'clock, and she didn't even barely touch me before she knew that I was 10 centimeters. She was just like, oh yeah, let's go. It's time to push. So it was like within 30 minutes I went from 8 to 10 centimeters, which was crazy. And it was actually at 9:30 I told the nurse, okay, find the doctor, I'm ready to push. It took her a half hour to come check me, so I was waiting for like a half hour trying not to push. So 10 o'clock they started getting prepared for me to start pushing. So I started pushing around 10 o'clock, and I pushed literally two times, like 2 pushes where they were like, okay, breathe in and push. They said that twice, and within 5 minutes of pushing, she came out, and like I just felt a release of pressure, everything. She just came right out in 5 minutes. So, and she was born at 10:38. We literally got into that hospital room, the labor room, at around 6 o'clock-ish, and there was only 4 hours of labor. 5 minutes of pushing. It was the quickest labor I ever had, and my other labors were fast. So she came out so fast, and it was so easy. It was like the easiest labor. I did not tear, so I didn't have to get any stitches, and I only got a small hemorrhoid, and it was just the easiest labor ever. She was 6 pounds and 8 ounces and 19 3/4 inches, so 1975 inches long. That's probably why she came out so fast, because my other babies were 8 pounds and they messed me up, but she was just so easy. And she looked like, when she came out, she looked just like Elise, my second daughter. Like, they looked like twins. It's almost like they were cloned. It's so scary how much she looked like them. She looks like both of them, but more so like Elise. She was more fair skinned, and my oldest, Adri, is more brown skin. And so they put her, they gave her to me after they cleaned her. And she latched on to the nurse right away, so I didn't have any issues with that. But that's basically my labor and delivery story. I hope you could follow it, because it's like I was like so scatterbrained, and I had to put it back all together because it happened so fast. Like I literally went to the doctor, my doctor's appointment at 3 something, and she was born at 10:38. So it was like I couldn't even record everything that I wanted. It just happened so fast, and I knew it happened that way because it's a third baby, and they say they always come quicker and more unpredictable. But for the most part, it was a smooth, easy labor, and she was born completely healthy, except for some other issues. But I'm going to put that in the postpartum video. It's nothing major. But what can I say? That's all I can say is it was just a really easy labor, and I would do it all over again, and I would have another one all over again, and then I would probably regret saying that because it'd probably be the worst labor. But yeah, thank you for watching my whole labor journey, my whole pregnancy number 3 journey, and I will be doing more vlogs with postpartum and everything, and I will see you later. Bye. And here's precious little Aria Lane. Before I go, I forgot to mention, so when she was born, my husband was all nervous before I started pushing. He was all nervous, and I was telling him, you're probably nervous because we don't know if it's a boy or a girl. So right when she came out, we were both like, I looked up to try to see if it was a boy or a girl, and then doctor said it's a girl, and then my husband just started cracking up. He just started laughing, and as soon as he saw her, like, she just melted his heart. I could just tell by how he looked at her, and he wanted a boy so bad, but he just completely forgot that he wanted a boy. And so she has melted his heart, and he's going to spoil her just as much as he spoils the other 2 girls. But here she is. She's our little blessing.